Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I am Johnny Mac, and my dog seems to be co-hosting today. We have today's daily comedy news. Some housekeeping before I begin. As I've mentioned on the last few episodes, my son graduated from college on Friday, so I'm actually recording this Thursday around lunchtime, and I'm sharing that because I feel like some of the stories may have modified between then and now, so I just want to get in front of that. Because I taped this on Thursday, I haven't seen Saturday Night Live yet. I'll talk about that on tomorrow's episode. And boy, I got to tell you, I've been thinking a lot about the late night stuff, and there's been a bunch of Conan articles. I shared those in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast group. I have some thoughts about late night Mount Rushmore. I've been thinking about this a lot. I can't wait to record all this stuff. I just don't have time because of the graduation. So here's Monday's episode. And as I record this on Thursday, TMZ was reporting Theo Von caught on camera grabbing the throat of a man at a Nashville bar. As the story goes, footage obtained by TMZ last Wednesday shows Theo Von at the 1230 Club on May 2nd, arguing with a man holding a bouquet of birthday balloons. The video apparently shows Theo Von thrusting the man away before the video cuts to Theo Von shoving the man by the throat. It's unclear if the two shoves were from different vantage points or whether Von shoved the man twice. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department confirmed the incident to the New York Daily News and identified the man. 2 days after the altercation, officers were sent to the apartment of the man whose, quote, allegation of misdemeanor assault by Mr. Von was investigated and staffed with the district attorney's office, which determined there will be no action taken concerning the complaint. Police did not say what led to the altercation. Sources told TMZ that the man and his group had been repeatedly harassing Von and using threatening language. Again, I want to be crystal clear. I'm recording this on Thursday, and I'll have any updates, if any, on tomorrow's podcast. Also breaking as I record this on Thursday, Mediaite picked up on a conversation Rogan had with Tom Segura. As they reported, Rogan argued against banning Kanye West's new song. Now, I have to be careful here because I don't want to get kicked off the platforms that I'm on, but if you Google Kanye West's new song, the title is a salutation, you would say, to the greatest of all World War II villains, okay? So we know who we're talking about, the guy with the mustache, that guy. And there was a way you would greet him. That's the name of the song. Rogan said, first of all, kind of catchy. Segura said, what's the problem with it? The guy from production has never lost a step. You know what? Let me actually pull the audio here. Okay, I've got the audio here. I've made a couple edits for swear words, but I've left the integrity of the comment in place. So I think if you hear Segura and Rogan's tone, the headline is a little alarmist, but let's listen to a clip from the Joe Rogan Experience.
Bro.
What is...
What?
Here's the thing.
What?
My
First of all, kind of catchy.
Well, that's the problem with it. That's the problem. Is
Yeah.
like the guy from production, like he's never lost a step. He can make a beat. He can, like, he's so talented.
He's a genius.
He's a talented producer, man. I do think it's like when, first of all, I think people are kind of done asking him questions because most he puts out is like self-released kind of commentary or thoughts. Because he's saying just, you know.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
But there is a thing where that song is like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing for real?
It's the ultimate pushing back.
Yeah, I guess. But there is like I think I have a pretty, you know, let things go kind of vibe to me. Right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Your show.
Yeah.
Like,
I
your show's ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous show. And I've always been like, yeah, say whatever you're going to say. But I do think like making a catchy song about that, I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Segura goes on to say, is that cool to do? I guess if you're like, well, it's fun to troll the masses, what I'm saying, like, at a minimum, you're going to get less educated people to go, that's a fun thing to say. And you're like, is that good? Rogan made clear that he does not support anti-Semitism or racism, but then argued that banning Kanye's song may give it more influence. Rogan argues there's a benefit to just letting people talk, let people say whatever the bleep they want to say, even if it sucks. This is the benefit of Twitter, but it's also the bad part. It's like the bleeping song has so many millions of hits on Twitter. It's been banned on every platform, but is it good to ban things from platforms? Or is it better to let it be out there and let people talk about it? Conan O'Brien had a lengthy interview with the Today Show. They've released the 90-minute version. I did share that in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast group. I'll pick at that over the next few days. One of the things Conan talked about was learning of the death of his parents. Conan said, I was in Austria when my brother Luke called me and said Dad passed, and rushed back to Boston, and there his mother was not doing well. Conan said, and I could tell that she was going, which was surreal, and she passed within 3 days of my dad passing. And the funeral became a double funeral, and the scramble to get that together and all the emotions that come with it. During this time, he was getting ready to host the Oscars, Conan explains. The minute Christmas was over, I was like, okay, you just have to get to work on the Oscars because there's not much time. Then the fires hit, and we were evacuated, and we were living in a hotel. He found solace in his work, explaining it's healing to be in a room with really funny people that know and care about me and to be working on something that we're trying to make that's positive and life-affirming and silly. Of his parents, he said they were very proud. Kathy Griffin, who's one of those personalities that, like, every time her name comes up, there's always, like, strife. It's never, oh, Kathy Griffin had a nice day and pet some puppies. There's always something. She was on a YouTube show, Talk Your Head Off, and called Stephen Colbert a D word. The one for genitalia, that one. We try and keep it clean here at Daily Comedy News. This all gets back to Kathy Griffin and the thing with the really famous politician that prompted the Secret Service to investigate Kathy Griffin. Remember all that? Yeah. So as Kathy tells it, a segment producer from The Late Show agreed that they wouldn't talk about the picture. However, according to Kathy, the producer went back on his word when she arrived at the set of Colbert and told her, Colbert wants to talk about the picture. Kathy recalls being distraught and nervous. She was just hoping to promote her performance at Carnegie Hall. She says she told the producer, if you go down the road of talking about the picture, it can get really dark, and the details from the fallout from that picture are dark as well. Colbert knows that picture was covered, and he knows my investigation was BS, and he makes fun of Donald Trump, and we all know Trump is nothing but a clown, so I think we're like-minded on this. He goes in about the Trump picture, but he goes in hard. He went in with the line of questioning of the, what were you thinking? And the, you must have known it was too far, and that sort of thing. It was a line of questioning I remember thinking, wow, he has way more of a bias against me and my right to take that photo than I imagined in my worst-case scenario. Kathy claims that Colbert kept going and going about the topic, and then the tears came. I felt my eyes fill up, and I thought, oh, God, no, anything but this, anything but you're a grown woman who's a female comedian trying to prove you can keep up with the boys. You cannot cry. I'm glad to say not one tear escaped my tear duct, so I did not cry. I did not have a tear that was visible to the audience. I don't think the audience could tell that my eyes filled up. I do think Stephen could tell. It didn't stop him. I do not feel he had any empathy, but I did feel he had an understanding of what was happening, and that's what made it worse. And I remember thinking, you asked him to be on the show. I'm a guest. This is your show. This is your world. This is fascinating because I don't think I've ever heard a bad word about Stephen Colbert. I'm not at all surprised that Colbert would want to bring the topic up if you're going to book Kathy Griffin. Oh, hey, Kathy, so you're playing Carnegie Hall. Yeah, I am. It's going to be a great show. Sure. What do you think's going to happen? Kathy said, I have such a low opinion of Stephen Colbert now. He's not going to hear it, but if he does, he'll probably issue one of those statements saying I made the whole thing up and that I'm irrelevant and that he didn't know I was crying. I recorded this 4 days ago. I don't see Stephen Colbert putting out a statement saying, I think Kathy Griffin's lie. I don't see that happening. I'm so used to guys making statements like that about me. It's ridiculous. Kathy also accused Colbert of punching down. He's just accomplished just about everything he can as a comedian, and he's wildly talented, and he's obviously very bright, but man, what a D word. What a D word. And to go for me, of all people, just to me, it was so laced with misogyny, but that undercurrent of misogyny where we'd probably be shocked to hear that anyone accuse him of having an ounce of misogyny, but I remember thinking he would not talk down to the guys like this. He just wouldn't. I don't think I've ever seen him treat any of the guy comics like this. I walked off, and I remember I was about one step away from the desk, and the tears came, but I was still smiling and waving, and I could feel coming down my cheeks. The EP, executive producer, rushed over to me, saw that I was crying, and I just said, what was that? What was that? Kathy said the producer tried to explain Colbert's questioning. He just couldn't get over the picture. He just can't get over it. Quoting Kathy here. And I go, what's for him to get over? I don't understand. It wasn't a picture of his decapitated head. Kathy says the EP said, Stephen's really Catholic. And I go, what? What does that have to do with anything? I was raised Catholic too. And he said, I think it's just what it is. And I said, okay, I can't make any sense of that. Kathy has a plea to Stephen Colbert. I'm just being honest to the best of my recollection. So Stephen Colbert, please don't be a D word again and sue me. I just wanted to tell the folks the wildest behind-the-scenes story of any talk show I've ever done, and now you know why I haven't been on that show since and never will be again. Boy, that's just a lot. Oh, what else can I tell you about? I've got this Mulaney article that I shared in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group, but let's do that one tomorrow. Jordan Klepper, he's got a special tonight, the compactly titled The Daily Show Presents, Jordan Klepper Fingers the Pulse, MAGA, The Next Generation. So if you want to watch The Daily Show Presents Jordan Klepper Fingers the Pulse, MAGA, The Next Generation, it will dive into the pocket of young voters who turned out for Trump during last year's election. The half-hour special on tonight on Comedy Central is Klepper's 6th Daily Show branded special, 11:30 on Comedy Central. So last week was the NFL schedule reveal. The Kansas City Chiefs grabbed Ben Bailey, you know, the cash cab guy? The Chiefs had a cab made, emblazoned with a custom KC Taxi logo on the doors. Chiefs Chief Marketing Officer Lara Krug said, "These viral schedule release videos have taken on a life of their own. This year, we wanted to do something different and found a formula that works really well. How do we tap into entertainment and the cultural zeitgeist?" The team came up with some ideas, and the minute a concept surfaced around Cash Cab, we saw the potential. It's such a nostalgic show with huge fans behind it. We thought, what if we were able to bring it back and recreate it? I mean, nothing against Cash Cab, but is there really Cash Cab nostalgia? Were the people in the Chiefs marketing group, yeah, we got to get Ben Bailey in a cab. Like, really? And it's fun and all, but it's not like the most amazing idea. Krug explained, in order for Chiefs Cab to work, they needed Ben Bailey. She says, there could be no version of this where you didn't have the original host be part of it. You think? We're small and mighty in the marketing department. Are you? Chiefs been pretty successful the last 10 years. You're in the NFL. You guys have money. Don't act like you don't have money. And I'm just very proud of the team pulling it off. There's pressure every year to figure out how to do it and stand out amongst the other 31 teams. So they get Ben Bailey. 3 groups compete in a trivia game. The groups featured cornerback Trent McDuffie, former Chiefs quarterback Trent Green, the voice of the Chiefs Mitch Holthus, 3 cheerleaders, and some social media influencers. Krug says, we tried to arrange the passengers almost like puzzle pieces for each of the rides to have a combination of personalities, a current and former player, true fans of the team, and influencers, some of whom have international appeal. So it adds a sense of authenticity and goes a long way. Yeah, nothing more authentic than having a bunch of social media influencers in a cash cab with a Chiefs logo. That's very authentic. Ben Bailey tells The Hollywood Reporter, I couldn't believe it. It's always fun to do something like this, especially for a big schedule reveal, as if he does big schedule reveals all the time. I'm happy to be here, and it's been really fun. He describes himself as a big football fan. Could Cash Cab come back? Bailey says the fact that it's still relevant now and people want to see it and are still thinking about it, it could come back. It did once. You never know. Reboots turn into a phenomenon, and everybody look through the old shows, considering what to bring back. Who knows? All right, I have to go shower and put on adult clothes for this whole graduation thing, but let me leave you with this. From BGR.com. You know the Tom Segura series on Netflix, Bad Thoughts, the one that's hilarious? They didn't like it. They wrote, beware of this Netflix dud that's climbing the charts, the weirdest limited series I've ever seen. Andy Meek writes, Tom Segura has a lot on his mind, and unfortunately for us, he's decided to act it all out. Bad Thoughts, ... is currently number 2 on Netflix in the U.S., which proves once again that people will watch literally anything on the streaming giant. This limited series is part apocalyptic fever dream, part sketch dump, and all kinds of WTF. Yes, that is why it's funny. That's why it's hilarious, Andy Meek from BGR.com. So what's Bad Thoughts actually about? Everything and nothing. 1 minute, it's an airplane emergency landing. The next, it's a singer's off-the-rail comeback. Yes. It's the kind of show where the joke is just often how long Segura can hold a smug face while something absurd happens behind him. Yes. It's mostly chaotic and cringy. Yes, it's hilarious. On Rotten Tomatoes, the show has pulled off a rare, universally agreed mediocrity. With a 60% critic score and a 55% audience score, Bad Thoughts has united everyone in a giant shrug. One user on X summed it up perfectly. This is the weirdest limited series I've ever seen. Another asked, who greenlit this? Perhaps the most brutal review came from the Rotten Tomatoes user who declared that Segura here showcases his true disdain for the audience with juvenile jokes reminiscent of a 13-year-old who drank too much Mountain Dew. I currently have it as the number 2 thing of the year. That's your comedy news for today. All right, hopefully there's not too much dust on those stories. I'll say for the 95th time, I recorded this on Thursday. I'm back tomorrow, more or less live. See you then.